Toddy, what shall we do? Sinzinjan,
what shall we do?
If we don't make the world a better place for mankind, then someone somewhere will make it bitter for the human race. Air pollution is the introduction of particulates, biological molecules, or other harmful materials into the Earth's atmosphere.
What shall we do?
oh, Toddy, what shall we do?
This may cause diseases, deaths to human beings and other living organisms, such as food crops or other natural environment. Though all humans experience the effects of air pollution, this affects mostly children and the elderly people, especially those with respiratory problems like lung and heart diseases. The extent of this harm is dependent upon the factor of the exposure to the damaging chemical. Third world countries are at a higher risk of contracting lung cancer due to various issues or factors which are unavoidable. Join me, ARAKA David, as I take you through the adverse effects of industrial emissions and more specifically the diesel engine's emissions, not forgetting the remedies that ought to be put in place to ensure that indeed we curb the widespread of lung cancer. 1.6 million cases of cancer will have been reported by the end of 2015. Half of the population will succumb to the disease by the end of the year. Lung cancer accounts for 27% of all cancer deaths. Each year, people die more of lung cancer than colon, breast, and prostate cancer, all combined. Cancer is increasingly recognized as a critical public health problem as an uncommunicable disease in Africa and Asia.
There's very few resources that the government and most even private facilities put in place. But also the cost implications, people consider that it's cheaper to go to either India.
The control measures of curbing the widespread of lung cancer have been jeopardized by irresponsible lifestyles and impunity of authorities as well as lack of proper policy framework.
Despite efforts by organizations like CARB, the Carbon Reduction Resources and Opportunities Toolkit, Kenya still risks emitting more hydrocarbons in the air than it is supposed to emit because it might cause lung cancer.
Depending on even the environmental area, if you are exposed to some of the carcinogenic substance, you develop cancer.
Diesel engines are carcinogenic. They have a high potential of causing cancer, in this case, lung cancer. They too affect the respiratory systems of human beings. According to Professor Philip David of King's College in London, diesel engines have two dangerous components that are chemical pollutants which are very harmful to the human life. The components are microscopic soot particles which, when inhaled, they can cause inflammation of the lung, thus triggering lung cancer. The other chemical pollutant is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon, which, when inhaled into the human's lung, they can directly damage the DNA of the lung cells.
Because I'm not a smoker, he told me that I can get the disease from automobile emissions and from the emission from the industries. As I used to work in industry, so I guess, not even I guess, I think that's where I got it.
Most people in rural areas of peripheral economies live below $1 per day. Some fall victims of lung cancer, but due to their state of finance, they may not visit nearby health centers.
It's true that one of the risk factors, again, maybe we didn't mention, is that poverty. Those people who are poor may not be able to access health facility. They may not be able to get the right diagnosis. So sometimes they die silently without first of all getting the diagnosis. Really, those investigations are not cheap. They are very expensive.
Those who afford to overcome the challenge of poor infrastructure, they visit the low medical facilities where cancer testing equipment are either inadequate or not available. Posho mills are in plenty in most rural parts of the country. Citizens opt them due to the cheap prices and easy accessibility. Apart from the noise pollution, most of these machines emit harmful pollutants. Initially, diseases like lung cancer were unheard of. Today, there are various factors that expose human beings to the disease, which might seem unavoidable. Major cities and towns of developing economies are densely populated with both human beings and automobiles. Research has it that over half of the vehicles on the roads are diesel engines due to their affordability. The price of low sulfur diesel is too cheaper compared to the petrol fuel. This provokes potential buyers to choose diesel vehicles over petrol fuel vehicles.
A petrol car will take about 2,000 to 3,000. But for these diesel cars, because most of them are the matatos, you buy the matato taking over 5,000. We still have those big trucks. They are taking over 50,000 per consumption.
Alright,
because most of them are going all the way to Mombasa and coming back. They don't want to fuel on the way.
Okay.
So they have reserve tanks. You get it's fueling around 500 liters. That converts to around 40,000 to 45,000 shillings. So you see, diesel consumption is higher due to the high volumes that the trucks are taking.
Oblivious to the fact that the toxic diesel fumes are hazardous, this work attracts more people for employment. The question is, are there proper safety measures put in place to reduce their contraction chances?
Like there is a code. You find sometimes we hear sometimes people complain that I'm coughing a lot. Like now already I'm having some irritation in my throat. Okay, but with the time it just goes off. So it's not, you cannot say that it's something that have a long-term consequence. It's just for some time, and then it disappears.
However, thanks to organizations and individuals who have passion for environmental conservation, to reduce cases of lung cancer, certain measures ought to be put in place. The measures should incorporate the youths who in most cases are skilled and unemployed. Universities and colleges produce hundreds of thousands of qualified youths annually. However, due to challenges in underdeveloped countries like slow economic growth and corruption, 75% of the youths are unemployed. They are the backbone of an economy. They ought to be involved in innovations. In this context, they have to be taught on how to come up with entrepreneurial approach of curbing cancer. The first is coming up with adsorbers. These are pieces of porous sponge that can be used to soak gaseous air contaminants. The microscopic soot particles are adsorbed on the sponge. This helps to reduce the quantity of the emitted contaminated content in the air. The soaked sponge is then squeezed well to disperse the contaminated gas in a proper manner to avoid more contamination. The other innovative mechanism of curbing lung cancer is by using vapor condensers. When gas is put under certain temperature, it condenses to liquid. The liquid can be disposed of well instead of allowing the gas to be emitted in the air with a dangerous contaminant. The youths have a role to come up with simple modifications of condensers that are affordable not only for environmental conservation but also sustainable development.
Kijana kwa nyumba, kama kwa mtaa, umekaa tu hapo. Hajana mambo ya kwa mtaa. Kuja jua kali, unaweza kuja jua kali na tengeneza kidogo. Sasa vipi kama jua kali si ngumu kupata. Unaweza pata kasofu.
Using an electrical principle of negative and positive electrodes attract, the young skilled youths can come up with such an innovation to reduce soot particles and the hydrocarbons in the air. Microscopic soot particles will be charged as they are released into the atmosphere. Having been charged, they will be attracted on the surface of the precipitators, hence forming a dust cake. The cake is then removed and disposed appropriately. Her little thing was to plant trees. When everyone takes such an initiative, the world will be a better place for mankind and the atmosphere will be safe for the human race. Cancer of the lung and other respiratory diseases will have been minimized, if not wiped out of the environment, if the proposed innovations are taken into consideration.
We have other properties in food like phytochemicals, which we find in a few. They are not nutrients per se, but they sort of improve the integrity of body cells such that they are not easily attacked by carcinogens.
But lifestyle is very important in the management of cancer. We need to focus so much on our lifestyle in terms of activity, exercise, and eating well. And this eating well means that we eat balanced dieting that is full of fruits and vegetables, which are antioxidant. They try to remove those carcinogenic substances from our body.
What shall we do?
What shall we do?
Oh, Toddy. What shall we do?
What shall we do?
Yeah, Toddy. What shall we do?
What shall we do?
Let us make the world a better place for mankind. We need to change our attitude and save the generations of the human race and mankind at large. If we do so, lung cancer will be a thing of the past. ARAKA David, sleeve up for lung cancer.